What's going on, guys? It's Cyclone here. Look, I got some things I have to do today. My schedule's it's all in a tizzy, so now I have to start even earlier than I planned. I'm gonna keep the stream up in a waiting period for about, I don't know, 15. I'm gonna give some people a little extra time. So please be patient. I'm gonna hit it probably by 10:20 a.m. Eastern. So I'll be back. Looks like we're continuing the card game. Looks like we're still with Morena. So we will see. I'll be back in a little bit, guys. What's going on, guys? I'm just going to make sure I sound good on the recording. And then we'll get started with the continuation of the Morena card game. It looks like we're going to get even more into it. Oh, boy. My man Togashi is going nutty. He's like, I'm just going to wait till I get on here and can hear what the hell is going on. The stream seems delayed. Like, well, I think it's probably a 30-second delay. It's a 30-second delay. Okay, I sound all right. All right. All right. All right, guys. So I am, I got some important things I have to do this afternoon. I can't get out of it. So had to fit this in this morning. And then I have a hard stop at like 11:30. So we got to get started. Negotiation. What two? Now, hold on. You know what? I'm going to go back and check something. Borkison and Morena are playing the game. So let's see what happens. Let's find out. Morena says, you go first. Please pick a card. D, no, yes. QB, QA, the enhancement and the aim card. Borkison looks down. She picks aim, which, by the way, again, parallels to Krollo's ability with the phone. That arrow, I kind of like this idea here. Negotiation game begin. Togashi went crazy. Like, dude, this is like a life or death game here. This is crazy. All these sparks are flying up between them, and it's a simple card game. Morena says, the aim card. Why did you pick this one? Borkison says, what? Chit chat is allowed? Then I'll go for it. But there's no penalty, is there? Morena says, of course it's all right. We might as well get to know each other. Borkison looks over to the Haley associates and says, say, are there others? Maybe about 50 in all? Hitani, the lawyer, Hitani, Hitani, the lawyer, just smiles. They just look at her. Like, hey, enjoy your game. Yo, this face of Morena is hilarious. Dude, she did like the Charlie Brown face. Like, come on, Togashi. guys. In case you didn't know, I'm going to repeat it again. Morena is a top 5 important character in this arc. Top 5. Not top 10, not top 20, top 5. She's a top 5 relevant character to the plot. Morena says, nice try. They're not going to. Okay, this is actually getting quite entertaining. They're not going to talk. These facial expressions, the coy, like, come on. There are others, but no more questions. Use a card if there's something you want to ask. Borkison says, I picked aim to help me decide, obviously. Fine, I won't answer any more of your questions either. Morena says, oh, that's sad. All right, if you answer one question, you can ask me one question too. Borkison says, thank you. And thinks at the same time. after saying thank you, she says in her head. So less than 50 of them. They didn't stiffen up, and the response was quick. So my guess wasn't even close, probably about half that. Borgerson, you do know that he's a lawyer, right? I'm just saying. I mean, she's right. They have what, 26 or 7 men users, right? Right? But frankly, I'm not sure if we know if they've grown even more. That was several days ago, and they were going on a killing spree. They could have hundreds of followers by now. Unless they said it in a recent chapter, like what the head count is, the ones who actually have access to Nen is lower than 50, but they might have more contingent followers. I don't recall if they've said that. But we're gonna go back here to Morena. She says, "My goal is the destruction of Kakin. Once that's done, I'll keep trying until the destruction of all humanity. I need you to do that." We're cooking up something spicy here. Borkson's like, huh? And Miranda says, huh? Borgerson says, that's not enough at all. If complete understanding is 100, I'm at a 3 right now. Miranda says, oh, you're very curious. All right. I should probably start with my upbringing. Okay, this card game from the last chapter and all that setup, this turned into something very, very, very spicy. Like ghost pepper, reaper pepper, all the hottest peppers in the world. No. I can't wait to hear that she's Beyond's kid. I can't wait to hear it. Her or some affiliation with that whole past, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear that again, the theories are she was due to be a prince and got replaced. That theory is very relevant. Let's go. Miranda says, do you know of the second track fakers? And Borkson says, yes, the royals without succession rights like you. Miranda says, yes, the actual Morena Prudo. But I'm not even a royal. No! 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 The real Morena is in a grave marked for me. Beyond, you fucking son of a bitch. There is something. It's like Beyond became a necrophiliac. I mean, this guy was like spending eons within the grave. I'm telling you, he's been playing with fucking corpses, all right? Like Beyond's a sick son of a bitch like that. Something is off here. Who's alive? Who's dead? That theme has been explored tremendously in this arc. Life and death are very much interchangeable in the current situation, and Kakin values death so much as a theme. Okay, let's keep going before I explode. So, Borkinson says, what? Then who are you? Good question. Oh my. She says, the carne lavare and les majeste. Majeste, that's like magic. That should give you an idea. Borkerson says, You're a Carnival orphan? Here we go. This is big. This is huge. Here we go. Carne lavare. Lese majeste. Start with carne lavare. Description. Literally, farewell to the flesh. A carnival for the Kakin royal family held once every few years. The royal family travels incognito to a randomly selected village and holds a feast. Every single villager is sorted on the spot as an entertainer or other. Wow. Hey. Lese majeste, an offense against the crown, punishable by death. Before modern times, crimes even included lower-ranking officials speaking frankly and civilians looking a royal in the face. Even in present day, post-democratization, contraception, abortion, and genetic testing of royals are considered treasonous acts against the prosperity of royal descendants with the punishment of death. So apparently, Morena's from a village where she was deemed potentially an entertainer or other. Maybe she's an other. She got sorted. So she's probably a villager who got sorted by the royals. And then maybe, but she's not. So hold on. So maybe the real Morena, maybe her sister, maybe something like the real Morena was sorted as another, and then looked at a royal the wrong way. Maybe she tried to have an abortion, something like that, and they killed her. And maybe Morena, this Morena, is a relative. What if this is the baby that they tried to abort, or they weren't allowed to abort? Could this be Morena Prudo's child? Now things are getting spicy. Let's keep going. This is crazy. I called it. Yes, my mother was forced to entertain the royals for several days without sleep. So the mother was sorted into an entertainment role. She was unable to even be aware that she'd become pregnant or given birth to me, and finally died when I was 2 years old. So literally just a random villager, her mother got picked to be an entertainer, and she was born, and the mother was so miserable that she didn't even realize she was pregnant. All Carnival orphans were scarred at birth and sent to an institution. Oh! Yes! He finally closed the loop on this shit. The human trafficking was in Kakin. We have now confirmed it. We have now confirmed it, folks. It's here. A base of operations for human trafficking run by Haile and affiliated with the underground hospital that treated the mother. It's human trafficking. Holy fuck. He closed the loop. Sound familiar? Phantom Troop, orphans, involved in a human trafficking scheme, Kakin villages, selected to entertain the royals, scarred at birth. This is getting great. This is getting really great. Here, we were scientifically sorted into second track fakers or flesh. I was categorized as flesh. They show like a cut of steak here being sliced into or something, or that's just a piece of a person. Who the hell knows? And the word here, we were scientifically sorted. That is really disturbing imagery. Really disturbing. Like, what did they do to them to sort them? That's really disgusting. I was categorized as flesh. For the next 20 or so years as flesh, you get the idea. Oh boy. I'm not going to even talk about what she probably had to go through. Recently, I was fortunate to become boss of Hailey. Let's just say that her innocence was not maintained, I have a feeling. She was fortunate to become the boss of Hailey. While I fulfilled my role as flesh, I discovered a certain talent of mine and I honed it bit by bit. That's my ability, which served as a catalyst from which I came to plot Kakin's demise. This is so damn amazing. This is... And if you think about it, right? Morena is in a bubble with Kakin civilians, Kakin soldiers, Kakin royals. Kakin wronged her so much that she wanted to destroy the whole thing. Sound familiar? A twisted form of revolution. Now we go into more of the lore. The Carnival is held irregularly. Orphans are classified according to the law, 2 digits of the Kakin calendar. I'm year 98. So I like how Togashi doesn't really tell us how old Kakin is. We know it's very old. But like, let's just say that she was born, I'm just going to make it up, 1998, all right? Over the 20 years before I became Hailey boss, there have been 7 batches of Carnival. Chill. I can't handle this. More crazy children, more, holy, where is this? Is this in the hospital, this crazy place, or is this on the ship? Oh my God, 7 batches of Carnival children. Let's keep going. The most recent batch of orphans is year 20, last year's. So Togashi's basically telling us this story is based kind of, wait a minute, so this is huge because, hold on a minute, wait a minute. Everyone remember like Hunter x Hunter was set in the 90s thematically? No, actually. It's actually set in a modern 2000s story. This is 20. And it took Morena 20 years to become boss. So we're actually in the year 2021, which also actually lines up with when Togashi was actually writing this stuff. You guys forget, he was been storyboarding this stuff for a long time. COVID happened, and then we had that humongous almost 4-year hiatus, 3.5 years. This comes from when he was writing the story during COVID. So it's right now in the Hunter x Hunter lore, it's equivalent to 2021. Oh, that's so fucking cool, man. I love when you can see things like this from the author. That's so cool. This chapter is fantastic so far. Absolutely peak. 20 years, last year's We're good on time. Meaning the last carnival was held 2 years ago, the year after the democratization commemoration celebration, the DCC. Morena says, do you understand? Kakin hasn't changed at all, and it won't change ever. This is the general framework from which my desire to destroy Kakin grew. Ferguson's just like sitting there like, holy cow. Morena continues, I need people to help me achieve my goal, each with special abilities. And the one whose ability will fill the most critical role is you. Is you. My most critical role. They must be related. They must be related. They have to be sisters. There's no way they're not. There is no way they're not sisters. I mean, we're talking about she was born with an innate ability, like, and they look somewhat similar. It's her sister. It has to be her sister. And then Morena continues, that's why we invited you here and why we're trying to recruit you. And before we continue this incredible peak hype chapter, let me just make sure I sound okay. All right. All right. Borkison asked the question we're all thinking of. How do you know it's me? Morena says, I can't answer that with this card, and that's it for this one. She gets rid of the card. Come on, it's her sister. Ah! Here comes the guy, the freaking the guy with the headband. He's whistling. He takes the cards and he shuffles them up and he puts them in front of Borkison. And people, I remember chat last week saying, Morena can't cheat. We'll see about that. We'll see. I mean, when you have a third party shuffling that belongs to the opponent, you always get suspicious. That is called the house always wins. But let's just go through 5 cards. Morena says, okay, please slide a card towards me and flip it over. She does it. She takes the second from the left. She flips it over. The Joker. Someone call Steve Miller Band. The Joker. That's a good musical reference, by the way. And Batman, of course. Yes and no are no different to me. So, and Borkison thinks, so this card has practically no effect on me. Morena says, discard the Joker and pick the next card. Borkison says, the power card. Morena frowns. She goes, wow, you're asking about me twice in a row? I'm flattered. I'll try to explain as clearly as I can. Have you ever heard about Nen? Borkson says, only recently. I don't know how much of what I've heard is right. Borkson says she believes it's basically a superpower, supposedly being used in the succession battle. Morena says that's correct, as a general understanding. It's true, it's like a superpower, but anyone can learn it with training. There are also abilities that can awaken people to Nen. My ability includes that aspect. So you don't need to train a long time. Like Bill, she's an awakener. Well, I'm going to call these awakeners. It's an actual, I think it's a good way to identify, like, you know, I specialize in awakening. I let people use their Nen. I do it in a way that speeds it up. I have abilities curated for that. So, you know, I kind of like that idea of the whole thing. Just got a little darker in here. Sorry. I think I'm still okay on the light side, right? Got a little cloudy or something. Just see how it looks. Okay. I think I'm all right. All right. So, yep. Borkison says, then could you tell me what your ability is? Morena says, yes. To put simply, my ability is to give abilities to those with like-minded goal and to spread that circle. I am the dealer, or master or matter. I don't know what. I am the dealer or matter, as it were, with a maximum of 22 players or children. Once they earn enough points, they can also become a parent themselves and produce more children, rather like a pyramid scheme. I listen to each of their goals, consider their attributes, and assist and support the development of their abilities. I mean, really, is that a Switch behind her, a Nintendo Switch or something? It looks like a Game Boy. It looks like a Game Boy behind her on the table there, like a little D-pad. Dude, listen to how thoughtful this character is. And then Borkson thinks how cunning. Aim and ability. The structure of the explanations is such that no matter which is picked first, you want to hear the other. If I had picked ability first, she wouldn't go any further than this. To be honest, or rather, I rather don't want Kakin to cease to exist. Yeah, Borkson's upset about hearing this. Duty, responsibility, national defense, none of it means much to me. I was going to float through the rest of the hopefully long life ahead of me. It's unnerving to have someone else's big ambition waltz in and mess it all up. I don't need it. Borkson says, oh, each is it to destroy Kakin? So Morena's saying, I value all the desires of my people and consider all of them and make sure that we all have the right agenda. And Borkson's like, but wait a minute. You said you care about everyone's goal, but the only goal that matters to you is the destruction of Kakin. So please explain what you're saying. Oh, there he is. There he is, man. Fucking shit. Now we're getting into the deep end, folks. Here we go. Prepare yourselves. Oh, here we go. Big explanation. I was in military school since before I can remember, and I was taught that my duty was defending the country's safety, as long as war doesn't break out during my lifetime, right? Fortunately, I was smart enough to squeak into officer training school. We had to risk our lives to listen to pop songs from rival countries. This is North Korea, baby. A few months after their release, but learning about the untouchable outside world this is just like Meteor City. This is so similar to Meteor City if you really think about it. Videotapes, like VHS, like the fan troop were using old copies of VHSs that they got discarded. They you know what I'm saying? It's the same idea. But this is a far more militarized situation. Untouchable Outside World was a normal part of our high school curriculum. We have the worst flood control in the world, yet we rank highest in The lore here is big. They're the biggest manufacturer of man-made particles, pollution, and information processing throughput. That's the kind of country I live in, but it's still home. All I wanted was to have a modest, ordinary life in my own little corner, or probably somewhere in between military prep school instructor. The Borkison's past is fucking crazy, bro. This is Borkison's, right? I have a modest, ordinary life in my own little corner, probably somewhere in between military prep school instructor in the boonies, and I don't know, secretary number 4 for the General Affairs Office, deputy director at the National Defense Agency. I don't want any of this. Borkson was militarized. She became a patriot, even though there were flaws in her society. She's like, well, I have a duty to fulfill, so I'm gonna just find my corner and exist. Here we go. Things turned iffy when Beyond, or whoever pledged to go to the new continent. And now we're talking about superpowers and destroying humanity? Beyond's thing, I promise to take you there. I love how Togashi did this. He put we're going to go down. We put the text bubble where Beyond is speaking. Destroying Kakin is my own personal small goal, but it's Morena speaking in the next panel, but the bubble is right in front of Beyond. That has to be intentional. I feel sorry for you. I really do. But even if I wanted someone in my life to go away, I never considered murder as an option, thinks Borgeson. Now Morena continues. So we get that her, Borgeson's viewpoint. We saw Morena's experience. We saw someone who's a patriot in the military complex versus one who's considered a flesh. So we see the two sides of Kakin society literally in this chapter, which is so cool. But now we have Morena saying, the larger goal we have in common here is killing people in general, either directly or indirectly. We all have different reasons and circumstances, targets and quotas. Those are our own small goals. Destroying Kakin is my own personal small goal. It ain't so small. And secondly, this is literally like The Godfather. Michael Corleone said it best. Hey, Senator, we're part of the same hypocrisy. He said that line. It's the exact same thing. The larger goal we have in common is killing people in general, either directly or indirectly. We're part of the same hypocrisy. That's what Morena is basically saying. And it's right. Like, you kill people through the military, I kill people for revolution, but we're both doing the same deed, technically. Holy shit. Borgeson thinks, I'm glad I found out that you're an honest person and that I can't relate at all to your goals. With this information, and then Morena says, the superpower is greatly affected by personality and state of mind. Borgeson's like, I have to get out of this no matter what. I got to get out of this. Excuse me. Borgeson says, you just said personality affects superpowers. How do you know my ability that I don't even have yet is important when you hardly know me? Well, that's because they have to be related. You can hide behind that rhetoric that everyone is special. Isn't that a negotiation tactic to make me think I'm special? You are a specialist. Dogman. That's right. Dogman. Right? We get the Nen chart. Holy fuck, this is big news! Whoa, guys, whoa, this is big! Togashi put specialist at the top and enhancer at the bottom. Yo, that's the first time I've never seen it drawn that way. I've never seen it drawn that way. Oh, I mean, I know it's to show the importance from Morena's perspective, but this is like the holy Bible of Hunter x Hunter, right? The Nen chart, it's reversed here. Oh. Morena says, Nen abilities are classified into 6 types. Yours is very rare among them. At the very top. Yep, there's Dogman. One of my people is an enhancer. He enhanced his sense of smell and gained the ability to sniff out abilities. He's at the level where he can identify a person's type just from faint aura through emitting before they awaken to Nen. So, just the natural emission, their life force. He can sniff out people through their life force. Look at how big this guy is. He really is like he's like the Kane, like from the WWE. Excuse me. Humongous lore. Big news. Huge news. Earth-shattering. We're getting the percentiles of each category. Wow. Even now, he's searching for people like you, specialists before they know N. It may not be accurate, as it's from my own research, but I think the occurrence of specialists are about 1 in 3,000 people. Surely you can figure out what that means. Here we go. 0.33% of NEN users are specialists. Excuse me. Wait, whoa. No. Oh, yeah. Not a third. A 30th of a percent. Hold on. I'm getting so. Damn it. It's 2 decimal points. No, it's 3 out of 3,000. So it's, yeah. Jeez. Thousandth of percent. Jeez Louise. Enhancer 27, Emitter 24, Transmuter 19, Manipulator 15, Conjurer 15. Yeah, so Manipulator and Conjurer are rarer. As you go down the graph, it gets rarer. I do like how and again, this makes sense, right? Because the more complicated abilities are on the lower side of the graph. So they're more complicated. They're more advanced, but not necessarily stronger. Just they're more complicated. And thus, they probably require more complex aura. And so that's why they're also probably harder to awaken. So Morena says, it's comparatively rare, to be sure, but there could very well be 50 to 60 more of them aboard this ship. And hello, Crollo. Hello, Karapika Scarlet Eye. Look at these eyes. It would be best if we can find someone with the larger goal in common. It doesn't have to be you in particular. But you're here now, so you better fucking play my game. Look at those fucking eyes. All right. In fact, oh my freaking God, bro. Oh my God. Yeah. Here we go. In fact, Dogman came across a few specialists who already know Nen. He was quite excited that one of them was a floor master. Super famous among the MMA crowd. You frickin'. That's what I mean by your risk increasing the longer this takes. That's it for explaining abilities. Yeah, Borkison, I'll play her fucking game or else Crollo is coming to take your place. Holy fuck. Borkson says, I want to hear a bit more about specialists, specifically about what kind of ability you'd have me acquire. Says Morena. That's closely related to the yes and no cards. I'll explain about specialists. Put very simply, it's just very, very useful. Oh my God. I am about to, I have been in debates with people in the past about the physical strength of Benjamin and specialists not being able to enhance their bodies like an enhancer. And yet the entire point of specialization is that it can utilize any principle as a specialist. So we're about to find out if there really are hard limits to a specialist's ability or if they can go basically 100% into anything. Let's go. We're about to find out right now. There are some practical limitations for the other types. Transmuters, for example, have a hard time learning manipulative abilities, but specialists have none of that. No negatives, baby. The only negative is that they might not realize they're specialists. They might focus on a different type and regret it later. This can and does happen. So if you know what you are beforehand and can try learning a really unique ability that doesn't belong to any type, or a hybrid ability that would usually require training in multiple types to an advanced level, like the Guanyin Bodhisattva. As a side note, I'm also a specialist. Of course she is. My ability is, we knew that too. My ability is quite unique. Join me in learning and improving Nen abilities based on points. How convenient. An advanced hybrid of all 5 types, it seems. So, of course, I have a specific request pertaining to your ability. But that's more for this card over here. So I can't say anything else. I'm sorry. If you pick the yes card, I'll tell you what kind of ability I'd want you to learn if you chose to join us. It's part of the discussion of what role you'd be expected to have once you join our team, rather than a question on Nen abilities. I am still curious about it. I am still curious about exorcists. I am still curious. And frankly, exorcism, conjuration is a part of it, but you could easily be a specialist as well. I mean, yeah. Got it, says Marina. Yes. And then we got more shuffling. No matter which card I pick next from the 4 remaining, it doesn't change my number of options. Borkson says, it seems like she'd still answer questions a bit on cards, even after they get sent to the graveyard, besides the question A card. The more information I have, the better, but the time risk she mentioned also comes into play. Whether I prolong this game or not can be decided once my options become limited. I do have to pick up the pace, little guys. I have a hard stop, so I want to also have time for comments. She picks the right card. It's the yes card. Uh-oh. Oh dear, that's too bad. The second card, and you're already not joining us. Boom, 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 boom. She's noticing disappointment from everyone. The others are also disappointed. This tells me, at least, that they haven't witnessed any cheating in the past, but don't be optimistic. Have they even played this game before with someone who doesn't want to join them? If I'm the first, of course, they'd react that way. Marina says, oh well, I'll do my best until the very end. No and X are very different after all. Do you want to know how? Borkson says, well, sure, I'll oblige. I'll pick the no card. Okay, I'll explain what happens to the no card is the last to remain. If the no card is last to remain. The essential part of the difference, no, meant you won't join us, whereas X voids the game. We consider no as a firm expression of your will, a complete and irrevocable rejection. Borkson says, here it comes. Yes and no are basically the same. This is the time to persuade, threaten me until I think yes is the only option between yes and no. I'll take it to mean you and those around you will not be one of us. You'll be classified as other, simply points for us to acquire in order to level up and to attain our goal. We won't try to recruit you again, however. We can't have you leave after you know our secrets. Good old mafia bait and switch. Aha! And there it is, says Borgerson. Doesn't that basically mean even the X card is pointless? Look at this panel. The third trap, that the game itself is all a trap to make me say yes. If the X card remains, it would still be the same that you know our secrets, but that too will be included in the voiding of the game. That doesn't mean we'd erase your memory. We trust you and pretend that none of this happened. And we'll try not to make any contact with you if at all possible. Dude, she is pulling a freaking Michael Corleone. Your flight will be in 2 hours. Go into the car. Your family will be called. And then you get freaking wired. Dude, I am getting Godfather vibes so much right now. Yo, she is a Corleone. She ain't playing around, bro. She's controlling the whole fucking situation. Not to mention there'll be no cheating by twisting that none of it happened into pulling a, hey, we've never met, have we? Let's play a game. We'll also try not to involve anybody around you. Specifically, we'd go over the information we learn and the people that you care about, share that information within, and avoid those people. No. Although considering our ultimate goal, put them off until thank you. The mob doesn't operate that way. Everyone's fair game if the situation calls for it. To save time, I need to ask outright, says Borgeson. The X card not only has no merits for you, but the risks to you are high. I can't believe that you trust me under these circumstances either. Can you explain how this makes sense for you? Miranda says, oh, good, I was about to explain. It's actually a long story, but the merits are precisely that it's very risky. I see vows and limitations, high risk, high return. It's a very important component in NEN. If the negotiations fail in a game or of life or death, well, that's it. Even if that comes at great risk, I must accept the outcome. By playing the game that way, my ability can more strongly support my team. It's the same for those who join. By taking on the risk that you die if no is your last card, the effects of my ability and the resulting team unity become stronger, putting yourself into more jeopardy. My ability will be more powerful. That didn't upset you much. Wonderful. We can see that Miranda's reading her as well. I mean, of course. Well, I knew it was coming, and I guess it doesn't really feel real yet, says Borgeson. Miranda says, oh, it'll feel quite real when you're down to 2 cards. Go on. The card I've been waiting for, bro. The Logo X is here, folks. The Logo X is here. Togashi has these wacky freaking colors emanating from it with a vibrating noise, a foreboding sound. Beyond has an X scar on his face. Here we go. Now, the cards I have left are No and Death and Return Survival. Wait! Beep, beep! They both turn! They look back! Mirena's looking! Borgeson's looking! Benjamin did it. Benjamin just called martial law. Right? Dude, Saridnik and Morena both get interrupted at the very last second by a large announcement. Like, Melody interrupts Saridnik, Benjamin interrupts Morena. Holy fucking crap! Benjamin might be going on a goddamn tear. Oh my God, this chapter was fantastic. Now, the card game, is it a little bloated? Maybe a little. But all the stuff we just got is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And now we're going into martial law. And this is what we've all been waiting for. Benjamin's going to have the ability to just tear into all the other rooms and like search and seize and like put them on, military watch, basically put all of his pieces into place. Camilla's going to get involved. What's going to happen at the NEN classes now that martial law has been called? This is big. This is huge. All right, I am going to get the comments because I do have to get going very soon. Wow. What a chapter. All right. And I know, guys, and I'm sorry that the timing here today was off. I don't have a choice. Like, I'm gonna be gone all afternoon. So why is Morena so cute, bros? Bat77 says Morena over Saridnik. And Falsgaron, you said Sari will be the final boss of the arc. Morena over Saridnik. Morena backstory over Phantom Troop backstory. Whoa. I'm going to leave chat on, of course. The real problem here, folks, is that no matter who is involved, the revolutionary aspect, Beyond is there. Beyond is the glue. Anybody who has connections to Beyond or feelings to Beyond or loyalties crossing into this revolution, clearly Kakin is a super militaristic, human rights, even though they had a democratic kind of revolution, it didn't really do shit. So Morena's taking action for herself and is going to destroy it. I mean, this is unmitigated justice. Just destroy what's there, change it yourself, take action. Now, I'm still curious about Wang and knowing that Morena needs to use her Joker. That is the part that I am still curious about. The Joker card was just basically used in this chapter and moved over. But the cool thing is that we know that Dogman found Crollo and noticed him. So, Crollo's on the radar. Guys, this is insane because Morena is the flame of change, right? The flame of revolution. She's going to power through, and she's going to erase the current structures of the government and society and change it. All the princes are looking to inherit Kakin. Morena is going to try to completely destroy it all. These forces cannot coexist. They cannot. Like Zhonglei, good luck if you win, and then all of a sudden Morena unleashes fury and fire, right? You can't have people like that under your purview. You got to silence them. So eventually, if Beyond's goal is to destroy and recreate, for me, the biggest symbolism, if you were to think of it, right? Kakin has been portrayed as a tree. I've talked about the world tree theory as well. Like Kakin could have an actual world tree that they want to regrow or something. But let's just look at the basic viewing point of the tree. Morena's going to burn that tree down. Beyond might want to burn that tree down and build his own tree. The inheritor of this succession conflict will gain massive power and influence, Nen or not. Just being the king will come with great potential. But if Beyond wants to take all that ritualistic power for himself, he will become arguably the strongest hunter in the world. And that would be beyond Netero. He would absolutely surpass his father if he was to inherit all of the Nen from this ceremony. He will become almost unkillable. Royal Guard-ish level, no doubt about it. If he inherited all the Nen from the ceremony, he would be well into the Royal Ant category plus, right? He would be unstoppable. So, if you want to work with someone who wants to destroy the populace and the culture and inherit all the power and let her run wild, then yeah, that's a revolution right there. So incredible chapter. We have another comment here. Bats, who do you think is the main antagonist of this arc? Beyond. Saridnik is corrupt. Again, let's let's go into narrative mode here. Let's draw some parallels. Frankly, there are a lot of villains. Nasubi is just as villainous, if you think about it, as Beyond. But Nasubi is playing by a very strict code. Beyond is very mysterious and shady and is trying to shake things up from the shadows. Both are heinous, awful people. Look at what Kakin does to people. I mean, this is all under Nasubi's reign, right? Let's go back and look at this, the civil rights issues, right? Right here. Right here. Oh, well, before modern times. Maybe Nasubi modernized, so maybe Nasubi isn't as bad as the kings of old. Maybe he's liberated people a little bit. Before modern times, crimes included lower-ranking officials, civilians looking at a royal the wrong way. But here we go. Okay, but even in present-day post-democracy, contraception, abortion, and genetic testing of royals are considered treasonous acts against the prosperity of royal descendants, punishable by death. So that is still, and Morena's like, even with the democratic process, it's still god awful here. I'm going to destroy it all. You guys aren't changing nothing. I'm the change. I'm the one who's going to change it. That's why Morena is one of the most important characters in this arc. She is a revolutionary in a story about tradition. And by the way, in terms of hype, and this chapter did, well, the 2 chapters, but this one in particular, this elevated Morena to a top position in the story. And she has unbelievable potential as a character. Unbelievable potential. Like, you think about it. She upends the whole society, all the rules and everything, and it's over. Just unbelievable. So again, you want who's the main antagonist? They're all antagonists. Karapika is the only, person in the hunters. The hunters are basically in a world of villains. They're all villains. But they all have their own motivations and they all have their own agendas and goals. So ultimately, which villain comes out on top? Again, very mafia-like. This is why I love this arc, because there are so many parallels to mafioso cultural, like mobster sort of things. Like, you look at all these Godfather-like movies, there's a core group of characters and a family that you follow and that you look at as the main characters, but they kill people. They're not good people. You don't root for them in a way like, oh yeah, the villain wins. It's like a game of survival. They try to justify their agenda and goals, but ultimately they're all bad. And what always works so great in stories like this is when you try to find the humanity in even the most sadistic situations. Like Morena. She's been through hell and high water and wants to take change this horrible system. Using the pain and suffering of the past and herself to justify that she needs to kill people to form a revolution. That's the type of shit that makes great writing and character growth come to light. She has a purpose and a motivation from just absolute terrible circumstances in the past. I love to see it. It makes things so much more interesting. Cyclone is just evil. We don't think that he's had any bad experiences. He grew up as an ultra egoist and perfectionist, and is just in terms of the shades of evil, Cyclone is at the top. Morena actually has more moral grayness than Cyclone does, even though she's actually killing more people right now in the story. Her motivations and goals are actually more relatable and understandable. Cyclone is just a sadist. And Cyrenaic has killed people before the Succession War. So he's already been in that path, but his motivations for doing so are about himself, pure ego, pure narcissism, pure just condescension of the world. I am above everybody. Morena is putting herself in the perspective of a victim and is fighting to make the world better, but is okay with murder as a vice for that change. Kind of like how the mafia does things in mafia movies. I fucking love this. I really love this. Like, the storytelling is fantastic. So, anyone who's still here, like, please leave your questions. I'm going to stay on for a couple more minutes, but I do have to bounce in a little bit. So, if you're here and want to say anything, please do so. I'm going to give it a 9.5. I'm going to give it a 9.5 because the card game is slightly bloated, but it doesn't really take away from the enjoyment. Like, this, frankly, the last chapter could have been shortened by half, and then, like, we could have understood the rules, and maybe, like, we could have even. I loved this chapter. Like, I loved it. I did. Yeah, 9.5 is a great score, right? So, and that's a Hunter x Hunter 9.5. Any other chances to talk, guys? Any other points, questions, comments? I know my timing's off today, but if you're here, I'd love to hear from you. But 5 more minutes, and then I have to go. Well, it's going to be the next 2 chapters. He could go hog wild with, frankly, martial law is going to affect Karapika badly. His whole, desire for balance, out the window. So we will see what the future holds there. But Benjamin's done it. Now, some people are also saying martial law puts him in a bad situation. Will Benjamin die? Put your money down right now. Will Benjamin bite the bullet? He has, I believe, 5 abilities inherited. No longer has Balsamico. And we don't know how Hulkenberg is going to do this. Is Hulkenberg going to take out Benny Boy? Is it going to happen? That is what I'm like. Woo! Also, can you imagine that with martial law, what happens to Beyond? Because martial law, to my knowledge, applies to Floor 1, but also the whole ship. That's why the broadcast is going through the whole thing. So the Kakin military will do whatever the hell they want. They're going to lock all the rooms, or lock all the tiers. Floor 1 will be isolated. Hisoka, oh. Oh my God. So it doesn't look like there's any comments, guys. I mean, there's gonna please leave your thoughts in the comments after the fact. I am gonna have to wrap it up here. Thank you all so much for joining today, and apologies again. Life happens and your schedule changes. I can't avoid it. So next week, I'm hopeful that we're gonna be more along the regular time, and we'll see what we can do. But the story is picking up very quickly.